Welcome back to the Making Sense of Money podcast presented to you by P1FCU, where we tackle all the financial topics that matter the most to you. I'm your host, Tanis, and today we have Brian Erickson with the Lewiston Police Department. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yes, you've got some important stuff to talk about, I know, because I know all of us are always so curious about all the things that go on in your world. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the position that you hold at LPD?
Yeah, so my name's Brian Erickson. I work for the Lewiston Police Department. I've worked there for 25 years. I've been a patrol officer, I've been a school resource officer, and currently I'm a detective. I've been a detective for most of my career.
That's very interesting stuff, because I'm sure you don't sleep well at night.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, I bet. We actually had Tyler Crane on the podcast as a guest, and he talked to us about fraud and some of his experiences. Can you tell us what your experience is specifically and what type of fraud you typically see?
Yeah, so as a detective, I generally investigate more of our major crimes, like homicides and robberies.
Gosh, so you're really not sleeping at night.
Sexual assaults, yeah. But I also handle a lot of the more serious frauds and scams, too.
Gotcha.
And I've seen all kinds of different frauds, anything from embezzlements to check and wire frauds, gift card frauds, and most recently been dealing a lot with a lot of these cryptocurrency frauds and scams.
Right. That was kind of my next question, was about that uptick in that type of fraud, because in our world, that's something that has evolved over time, right? And I'm sure that trickles down to you guys as well. What's a recent case? Obviously, general terms, but...
Yeah, so I would say the most... I'd like to talk about, I guess, two that are the most prevalent in Lewiston right now are what we call the sextortion scam, or the impersonation scam. The impersonation scam is where someone will generally receive a call from somebody representing themselves as a member of law enforcement, tell them they missed jury duty or they failed to pay a fine, and they need to pay this fine or they're going to be arrested or a warrant's going to be issued for them, or whatever the story is. And they demand that they pay them this fine through Bitcoin. The sextortion scam is more of someone has contacted one of the more sophisticated ones we're seeing now is they're contacted through like email or by a letter telling them that they've hacked their computer or their webcam and they have some compromising videos or photographs, and if they don't pay them money, usually in Bitcoin, that they're going to release these photos and whatnot. Those are two of the most common ones we're seeing right now.
What are some of the red flags? You kind of mentioned a little bit with obviously if you didn't do anything wrong, you shouldn't be having a warrant out for your arrest. Kind of like, there's some obvious ones there, but...
In both of those scams, they kind of have the same common red flags. And the first one is, the threat, where somebody is threatening to do something to you, like arrest you or, release compromising material. That's usually the first red flag. The second one is where they're demanding payment through Bitcoin or maybe some sort of money transfer service like Cash App or something like that.
Right.
A third red flag would be where they are pushing like this urgency, like you need to do it now. You need to do it within the next 30 minutes or the next 24 hours. And then another red flag is they require that you keep this secret. They don't want you to tell anybody. They don't want you to talk to anybody else. On a lot of our impersonation scams. They keep them on the phone and they won't let them hang up. And they repeatedly tell them, do not tell anybody, do not talk to anybody, do not hang up with me. Those
this
kind of
just
things.
sounds like movie stuff. I can't believe it happens in real life. That's just wild to me.
Yeah.
And what's the deal with cryptocurrency or Bitcoin? I mean, why is that so much more like relevant with fraudsters versus like a wire transfer or
Yeah, so, I've been doing this a long time, and, these scams, for the most part, they've kind of stayed the same as far as the tactics, the way that they manipulate people psychologically. The tools will change, how they kind of get them to send them money. When I first started, it used to be through wire transfers almost exclusively. And then it went to like gift cards, and now it's cryptocurrency. And scammers like cryptocurrency for a number of reasons. One, it's what we call pseudo-anonymous. So they don't have to identify themselves with where they're putting the money, like in their wallet, the crypto wallet. Also, it's very fast. They can get to the money fast. It's also borderless. They can transfer that money anywhere in the world. They like to use it because it has this false legitimacy to it. A lot of people don't understand cryptocurrency. And so when somebody is demanding that they pay with cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or something like that, they think, oh, well, this must be a legitimate organization. This seems like a,
sophisticated type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. But also it's really easy for them to launder the money. I'd say those are the biggest reasons I think scammers have switched to crypto scams.
Gotcha. Well, it makes sense. I mean, it does seem like it's perfect for the perfect scenario of that type of fraud.
Right.
What makes it so difficult for you guys to track and recover that money once it's been converted to cryptocurrency?
Kind of the same reasons I mentioned as why they use it. It's pseudo-anonymous. It's hard to identify the people, like where the money goes. And they're able to move it very fast. They will move it from wallet to wallet, and they'll put it through mixers, which is kind of like a blender to kind of clean the money. And then they'll, they usually will try to go through some sort of a cryptocurrency exchange to cash it out. But when you're tracking or tracing this, when they're moving it around and doing all these different things, it can be very difficult to connect it to a person. So I would say those are some of the big hurdles for law enforcement with it.
Gotcha. So let's say someone realizes they're being scammed and they're in it deep. What do you suggest that they do?
The first thing is, like, when they get that phone call or they get that email, these scams they're a manipulation tactic. And what I've seen over, my years in doing this is the scams used to focus on like people's greed, like these get rich quick, like you won the lottery, hey, send me this money to pay the taxes and I'm going to send you $10 million, that kind of stuff. Now they're preying on people's fear. So they're trying to scare them, that's where these threats come in, and then they're demanding money. The best thing people can do is just pause, take a breath, and verify. Don't ever pay anybody cryptocurrency. Most legitimate organizations do not demand payment through cryptocurrency.
Right. Yeah.
And just hang up.
Yeah.
And talk to somebody, call the police department, especially these impersonation scams. If somebody calls you and they're representing yourself as somebody like with the Lewiston Police Department, and you have a warrant for your arrest, hang up and call us.
Right.
We can verify that for you very quickly.
Yeah.
So I would say those are the the best things you can do is just, you need to just slow down, because what the scammer's trying to do is they're trying to prevent you from thinking logically. They don't want you thinking at all. They want you reacting.
Right. And just like quick.
Exactly.
Yeah. How do we resolve this?
This is urgent. We got to do this now, So you need to slow down, just take a breath, like I said, and just verify.
And this ties into, I think, something that we pay attention to in the financial world is elder abuse. I mean, because cryptocurrency, I couldn't really tell you anything about it. I'm not interested in it.
Right.
I know what you're telling me, like, okay, that makes sense to me, but I can imagine with how things have evolved over time that demographically, I think for the older populations is like, what the heck is that? You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
There's that divide of that little bit of that negligence just because, the computer world and technology is something that more people my age probably would, say, I can kind of understand what's going on, but I would think to never send money. Right. I would never send cryptocurrency or anything like that. So that's another thing too, is I feel like our community here in Lewiston and Clarkston, I feel like we have a lot of, the proper way to say that is the elderly population.
Yeah,
I mean, This is a retirement town. So
absolutely.
I'm sure that is a big thing that you see too.
Yeah. And that's why I think it's important that we're talking about it on this platform now, is hopefully we're getting the word out to people. We want to make people aware.
Right.
Look for these red flags, and if something like this is happening to you, slow down and talk to somebody.
For sure.
Call the police department. That's our best way to combat these things.
Right. And having the relationship, P1FC having a relationship with LPD is important because our members come in and they're like, so I have to like pull some money out and tell us about this situation. And that's when we're kind of like, I'm not sure that sounds
Absolutely.
legit. So our tellers, our member service reps are very, very important in that aspect as well. Yeah.
And we're seeing the same thing with the businesses here in Lewiston that have like these Bitcoin ATM machines. They recognize when people are coming in and they start feeding a lot of money into the machine and they see them on the phone that, okay, they're probably being scammed.
Yeah, and no kidding.
They'll call us immediately. In fact, we've had 3 calls for exactly what we're talking about from one of the businesses in North Lewiston just in the last week. So
it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Do you think cryptocurrency will ever go away? I mean,
no, I don't think it will.
No,
I think it's going to be around a while.
It just feels like there's more harm than good, kind of.
Yeah, I guess you could look at it that way. And it's complex, and so law enforcement, I say we're catching up, but we're still learning how to combat this and, how to, help people that, lose money. But it is very, very difficult to recover funds once they're sent.
Yeah, that makes sense. It almost seems like you need to have like your own person who's kind of like the crypto nerd,
right?
Who like knows all the things.
Need like a full-time detective that that's all they do.
Absolutely. Yeah. Do you guys have something like that, or you just kind of
we don't
put your heads together?
I mean, we have some resources and other law enforcement networks and stuff that we can reach out to for help, but we just we don't have the expensive tracing software and stuff like that,
right?
To recover all of these funds like I wish we could.
Right. Well, my last question for you is a little bit lighter, and it's what is one thing that you wish you've known about money earlier in life?
So I guess I'll tie that back to what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
I wish I would have understood the connection between money and emotion when I was younger. That is, whenever, you're being rushed into something or you're excited about something, that's usually when you're at, the most risk to kind of make a bad decision.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Instead of, being calm and kind of thinking about things and kind of taking the boring way
right.
To look at something.
Right.
That's usually when, it's safe. But when you're being pressured or, like I said, pushed into something, you will make bad decisions sometimes.
Yeah. And that's as simple as like impulse when you're
Right.
having a bad day and they say retail therapy.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not always a good thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing some really good stuff. I mean, I know I learned something new today, so I'm sure our listeners has too, because like you said, cryptocurrency is complex and
It is.
in both of our worlds. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
And thank you to everybody for tuning in. We hope you learned something new today and feel one step closer to making sense of money. Don't forget to check out our newsletter and subscribe at p1fcu.org. We'll see you next time.